for the beginning of the year next year, as I will be out of town and we may have two openings in the first month, so we had to see what we had for a quorum of the board. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to meet in January, so that's what that was all about. So call the meeting in order officially. First old business. Did the people we talked to last month get back to you? I don't remember their names, the ones that are moving.
Yes,
Gavin?
Leo.
Yeah.
So I got a preliminary photograph. I did put it in the email. That they're gonna move the building out of Meeting and there. So they withdrew their application.
Okay, because I was
That's
good.
the point.
Yep, yep.
They've got the foundation starting. I saw it
Out
tonight.
of curiosity, did you measure that?
I didn't, but their math doesn't match. I
I
told
know.
them that it has to be 20 feet and that I need an as-built survey when it's finished.
Yeah.
Because
Oh, that'll do it then.
they said that
Perfect.
they staked out 20 feet plus the 6 foot sidewalk.
They're like,
Right, they will be within inches. That's why I told them that they, they applied for the permit. I haven't issued it yet, but they'll get the permit and then they have up, to a year to complete it.
Yeah.
as long as there's a survey or as built, there's not much else to talk about.
Yeah,
That'll
and
be good
that's
or
what I
bad.
told. I said
No, other than the fact that we had that was an example of how we were able to work with the community and
Right.
come up with something that was much more, didn't need a variance, which is what we always strive for, and didn't cost them a lot of extra money in the process.
Right, and that's their plan, is to re-pour there, they gotta bring in filter, they're still toying with the idea of maybe putting it down on the pad.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
they got the permit, put it right there for now, they may change it.
No,
And
good.
That was their words, but I haven't actually gone through and issued the permit yet, cause I have to do a building review. Even though they're relocating it, I'm gonna make them do a review and a zoning board. Or a zoning review pretty much. Make sure the measurements line up.
Yeah, not with us. There's no variance, just to review the rules and, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So I just wanted to say, I appreciate everybody kicking in for you. This is what happened was someone had actually put up a building on somebody else's property. Someone their land, somebody else, they didn't know, they misunderstood where the boundary lines were. We've gotten more and more focused on surveys for everything because this is not the first time this has happened. And we had a lawsuit a year and a half ago that started when people misrepresented their coverage area, which can only really be determined by a survey. Years ago, we were led to believe that only counted the buildings, but that's not the case because state law covers everything that's permeable or impermeable as coverage of surface area. So there was a bunch of things involved with it. We won the court case. We actually have never had one overturned, but you have to stay it like that. You have to go through 5-step process, and we may or may not see this tonight. Okay, but that's like I said, when you get a chance to get into training, you're going to want to see if they got any courses on that part of the process. You very seldom get those, but those are the most important: open meeting laws and the whole approval process.
Let's hope we don't get another one.
Yeah, that's
That was very long.
Yeah, it's they don't often have stuff for the zoning board, but it's tough to learn on the job, if you will.
Right.
But that's why I said I invited you to come down tonight so you can at least see what goes on to get an idea. Right?
Okay.
So, hey, I appreciate the fact that you guys spoke up on things like that. It's nice to have a multi-layered board. So,
Do we have to close that meeting now?
yes, that's why I brought it up because we'd left that open. And we can get into that later. We'll go through that whole process. And that's why I want to know, did they withdraw their thing? Because they hadn't withdrawn, then we could vote to not accept it. It would have had the same.
They did withdraw, and
Okay.
that was part of the conversation I had with her. She didn't want us to vote on that application because maybe next year or down the road.
Oh, yeah.
They might want to potentially
Do something else.
apply for like a 1 or 2 foot variance on the roadside. Like you had talked about,
Yep.
remember, they said that, or you told them that they may need to get a variance for, like, it's like a 1% variance, because they'd only be over the line like 6 inches. If they put it on the south side of the driveway.
Yeah.
So she said they're still looking at all their options, but she wanted to, I told her that she had to get something on the books immediately. To
Mhm.
show that they're trying to move it. Otherwise, they would have to move it.
And they have started. They have definitely
Yeah.
got things
No, that's good.
Uh,
on the way.
They do have a contractor that was able to get to it early.
Oh.
But they don't know if they're gonna pull the trigger on the permit yet.
Okay. All right. They're doing what they can do. That's all we can expect on that.
Yep.
So can I have a motion to, close that public hearing?
I'll make a motion that we close the public hearing on DeLeo's.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Now we'll open a public hearing on your applications. So, is this part of this, you wanna come up here, or you wanna sit back there? You, either one, whatever you feel.
I'm comfortable. Right?
Okay, you're comfortable, that's,
If you don't mind, yeah, I just wanted to start, and I told her when you were talking before the meeting started, how much I appreciate all the departments out here and how nice. Having now just retired and dealing with a lot of zoning boards and et cetera around the country, it's a pleasure to welcome work. Joe, down for staff. Got me
You're gonna put an application in for an alternate here?
there we go.
Told myself that I am retired for a reason. So that means.
That doesn't always work, trust me.
No, and I don't want to go into this meeting, but no, I am 2 hours, 3 hours a day for the company as a consultant to them. Travel to Boston once or twice a month, and I'm building my shop. That's what I wanted to do when I retired, so I'm doing it. At any rate, everybody's been great to work with, and then once Tony was able to get his done, which I really appreciate everything, how it went together. We got to the point, he got his up, then I called Joe and said, okay, here's what I'd like to do now that I'm gonna retire and stay here. And he of course knows, and there's one section, small section, that the variance that we put in place stopped me as far as coming towards the road because there was a shed that Tony had. And the variance stopped me so that there was clearance between us to make sure it wasn't argument. And that now it's his building on has been taken out. So now it's just all of our guard. At any rate, I talked to him, and what I'm gonna do is I am going to come across the front, which ran into the, oh, by the way, Grandpa Charlie, it's again, when my grandfather years ago in the cottage had just bought enough property so that there was partial out of that field. That's why I'm real interested in how the comprehensive plan is dealing with the lake area and properties. Joe, and the clerk, I'm sorry, her name was this. Holly. Holly actually
Assessor.
helped me out and had a form because there was a way for her to give the county, get me a new tax map and number. So instead of what my grandfather had, I couldn't even put a shed roof on my barn 50 feet from the road because I would have to have a variance from myself. And there was no room for variance because my barn is just on the one property. Because it was all built before we got built. Long story short, I've worked with him, laying everything out. I'll ask Tony, and of course is here with this going up there. The extension that I'm asking for of the variances come towards the road far enough to meet where I want to put the roof line across the front. That whole area undercover because it's now gonna be a shop. And then I'll start here with Joe, with my son in the kitchen. So at any rate, that's why I'm here asking if we could please see extending the variance from its current location 18 feet closer to the access. And then that way I can actually make it a complete wraparound. If we don't, he knows that I'm gonna come in 8 feet, 6 to 8 feet, and somehow make a jog in the roof. And to me, I just don't think it's gonna be as pleasing aesthetic to everybody in the neighborhood. Than if I can't just complete the corner. And tie everything together, that way I can take the drainage to 2 locations. Center it out there instead of having to try to force it all in one direction. And it will help me complete that so that I can go to the next step. And I would appreciate if the board could see.
Is this ever gonna get enclosed or is it just gonna stay?
Right now,
open?
it's gonna be, no, it's gonna be open.
Gonna stay open.
It's gonna be open. The only thing in that line that's enclosed was the greenhouse that was on that back corner.
Right.
Originally there. The only other thing that I would ask, so that we don't have to talk again, was years have gone by, my wife had one of the shrubs from one of the jobs that I just brought home. And now they're about 30 foot tall, but they're between the greenhouse. And where I put that shed up. And I just want to make sure we're clear that I have kept the addition, you know. And I've strung my everything stakes with a lot of that there's gonna be it someday in the future. Those trees, I'm gonna get rid of them. But they've gotten to be 40, 50 years tall.
Yeah, they do that.
And so, and her miniatures now. I can't see the lake because they're miniatures right now. But anyway. At some point in time when that does come, because I had the variance of that, I just want to make sure that I don't have to. I don't guess we can worry about the 8 feet or so if I ever do something.
So, just to clarify, you're not changing your variance request, right? You still want the 12 foot on the front, on the roadside?
That's part of the 18 foot of the variance. It's 5 foot something inches in length. Because right now the variance stops. Okay, on this side.
On this side, right?
So the variance extension I'm asking for is 18 foot 6.
Right, I'm talking on the roadside though.
Oh, that's not the road. This is. I believe it's 40 feet, so. I think you and I looked at it.
Yes, I was just, I misunderstood what you were saying. I wanted to make sure that you weren't changing your application. Okay.
No, I'm honestly looking, that's.
Yeah, I don't know if they're looking at it either, so.
Variance extension.
Just for a little bit of
Oh, it
clarification.
must be this. Talking something
Yeah,
else.
please clarify. There's so much
Oh,
There is-
vegetation down
there
there.
is a lot of
Hard to see anything.
You know, he emailed it to me.
There is a lot of information and
That's.
I
It would help, I'd be glad.
just on the record, I'm not justifying, I'm just clarifying what he's saying in his application. So this is Encore currently. So if you guys looked at the Encore map, this is not correct. So in your packets, I put Holly's confirmation to the county that both of these parcels are now one.
And that's what you were talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
That part is clarified. The other part I was clarifying was
But this lot line doesn't exist. These have been.
The one
this
This
one.
Niche in the
This one.
front.
Two.
Yes,
Okay.
this one still exists.
That's what I was looking for and I don't have.
It's been annexed.
Again, years ago,
I have it.
and then I actually got lucky and was able to buy up enough around me to have room. I didn't realize that it was still 2 properties, so unfortunately.
How far is the neighbor's building off the
That's what I
one?
want.
He's 10 feet.
He's 10 foot.
Yep. I asked Anthony in the beginning, and this is. So I asked him in the beginning when he was in the planning board and the zoning board phases to move the structure to the 10 foot mark, so he didn't need a variance to put the structure up.
Yep.
Lot line variance.
Yep.
And they also agreed to putting in drainage on both sides of the building. And the drainage goes across the road under this property and then to the lake, and that was incorporating that he was gonna apply for a variance down the road. And because of it being closer to the property line, it was gonna pack into that, also go into the road with drainage. Now that wasn't because he assumed that he was gonna get the variance, it was just because Anthony needed it for his structure because of the erosion control measures that.
If you don't mind, And it was one of the concerns of this board at that time to make sure that we were capturing for any runoff.
Mhm.
So at that point, we got with Joe and with Tony. And I joined along with him instead of him doing things and myself. And we put in a full catch basin and it's what goes from the catch basin to like it's, well, 12 inch.
No, this is now,
Nothing,
that's got nothing to do with it. He's talking about, this used to be a separate parcel
right,
and then they got them all straightened out.
Okay.
So now I'm not having to ask myself for a variance to step outside my front door.
So from what I recall, before I don't want to interrupt you, but there's something you need to be aware of. I remember before we restricted the length that you were going on your
Yes,
addition.
Small lean-to on this.
Right. However, and you have to keep this in mind, these variances are not for you, they're for your property.
Yes,
And they also include your property, okay? So you had a building legally for 2 years after you tear that down, you can put a structure back in that same footprint. And this is where the problem comes in, okay? Because 2 years from whenever you tore that down, then you'd be in the position where you think you are now.
Well, they are past the 2 year.
From when he tore that down?
Of when that structure was moved, yeah, we're working on.
The shed is moved, gone.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, when did that
what I'm saying
happen?
is
when did it come down?
Because it was there when we had our last meeting.
grandfather.
Our last meeting.
When we had the meeting about, he wanted to extend it down, we couldn't because there was a
Yeah,
shed over.
that was to.
Yeah, but once you
Years
gave them permission,
Yeah, it was a while
that
ago.
was the first thing that they did was.
Okay, I didn't think it was that long. That's why I
Yeah,
say
it
that.
is, I did check the date of the permit.
Okay, so this is one clarification, on it, okay? Because just because we had this before, if somebody tears something down, they can, for 2 years, they can put something back in that same footprint. Once it goes past the 2 years, now you can't.
Right.
You have to go through the whole review process. So now,
No, that's fine. I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'm glad this stuff gets behind us because he and I are working together to make sure that that area between our two properties is being developed. We're working together because we're trying to make it so it's user both. I'm worrying about what he's gonna have for a view for everything he's investing and so am I. So at their rate, that's why I'm glad
and the reason they make such a deal about the buildings be close together, and if you recall or heard about it, but there's three buildings caught fire on Honey Island Lake because the fire started in one and then spread to the other one.
Because they were so
That's the
close.
whole point of
Yeah.
keeping these places apart because that's what happens. You know, and you,
That's understood.
For the board, I could do the math out. Now, this is my math and my measurements. What I usually do is to determine if I'm gonna ask the resident for a survey map, I usually will figure it out if it's close, lot coverage percentage or lot line distance. If it's really close, I'll ask for a survey showing the defined area, but we're not close as far as lot coverage, so I didn't ask.
22.7% of lot coverage. I
Yeah,
consider,
with the addition.
New lean-to.
because I
with the
consider
new-
that close to 25.
Well,
This is
it's
the
30
problem.
It's 30%.
30%.
30%, okay. This is the problem I have with statements like that.
Right, well,
You determine what is close, that's arbitrary.
Right.
Okay, and the reason we were talking about making these things survey mandatory is to avoid that whole impression of anything that could be discriminatory.
And
And I know, and
the
you're.
board also has the discretion to ask for a survey too.
Yep.
So I just wanted to point that out, that you do have the numbers in front of you.
We have approximate numbers.
Yep.
And they don't include any parking lot area, or do they?
No, it does, I did figure out the parking.
The driveway's up, if you look total square feet, the driveway, the barn and lean-to.
Yeah, so this looks like the driveway goes all the way from down here, all the way up past the building to the back.
And then there's area behind it.
That's driveway is considered
I
driveway.
have a-
I thought that was
That's
just.
part-
It looks like,
It's a garden storage area.
it looks like that's finished.
Yeah,
Driveway goes
I-
up to the back of the barn.
Well, I've been down there, so I know that I wasn't considering that driveway because.
Well, if it's impermeable, this is why we requested surveys. So there's no question about that, because there's no way you're gonna be able to calculate that. Based-
So I did here and here.
Yeah.
In
And
front of the
this,
garage and
this,
so this, I
that
wasn't-
appeared like that, yeah, this is why we brought it up,
What's
because
the material back there? Is it dirt, stone? What is it?
On the side of the barn, going up the hill, is that?
Up the
gravel?
hill, there's gravel and there's under drain across that's tied in that goes to the drain
Yeah.
down on my, one side property. towards
yeah,
the
and that's
road.
considered permeable
Right, okay.
or impermeable. So I know this is annoying.
Even though I have yard drains,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's-
This is defined by the state of New York.
isn't that so?
Yeah, this is defined by the state
I
of New
got
York.
word. It's-
Yeah.
That's-
They- And we found this out the hard way. Okay, because we didn't count stuff like that years ago.
But anytime I run into one of these things, I can sit back down, cause I'm just saying, okay, that's 235 units. That's about $1,500 and I don't wanna make the call. Anyway, no. we'll get you-
So-
Whatever we gotta do.
Yeah, so unfortunately, I don't think we have any choice but to
Ask for a second.
ask for a survey, and it's gotta be, I understand there's cost to that.
With the proposed,
I'll get it done.
with the proposed,
with,
all the proposed
yeah,
coverage.
so that includes the building part, but what they will do, they will measure that with equipment that we don't
You know
have
what?
even.
Because of everything you and I are planning,
We know the square footage of the
we
proposed.
need the survey. Let's do it. We know where the
The other
one
ones
is. I don't
we
think
did
they'll find. the
With some of
stake
the other
because
ones, we
it's
had to
now
put the
a telephone
proposed
pole.
on.
Oh, I got a tree in one of mine, so yeah,
You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
no, and that's what we know, we have a good line, and I think it's time, because what he and I are gonna develop and do, and. We'll keep Joe in the loop before we do anything, as we're coming up the line and developing between the two of us. So, it's time, now it's one tax map there, I keep trying to get the guy who tries to rent, was trying to rent, didn't seem to this year. He owns part of that field. There is a parcel up in the back of Norris Land. It used to be part of Cressley's bake farm. And it was always bought up by one of the cottagers down there. And I tried to get it before the guy sold just on the other side of me, so I could buy everything right up to the road and lock it in and take care of it. And what the guy that owns it now isn't interested, so I keep trying. So I guess.
I can appreciate that.
I keep trying, and then one of these days I'm hoping he does. So it'd be good if I have a fresh survey, so I can go from.
There's
there.
other things you can do too, on the side of the barn there, you can plant grass, get rid of the gravel. I mean, that'll add to the.
There's
percentage
nothing
of lot
behind
coverage.
the barn. It's not driveway.
I know, but what I'm saying is we have to add that stone coverage. For
The
your
surveyor
lot
will
coverage.
determine if it's permeable. or
Yeah.
not.
Right.
Yeah.
So what you have to, when you ask for,
If
when you
it
ask.
is permeable, that is a bad thing.
No, so if it's
No, it's-
permeable, it'll count as open space and not part of the lot that's covered. A stone driveway is it's
Considered
not considered impermeable,
It's not
and that counts.
And there's yard drains. So it is permeable.
Yeah, the yard drains really don't count. It's just the way they count the surface area. Now,
Never mind.
now to your defense
weird.
and what we would take into consideration, because even if it comes to higher, we'll go through the whole variance process, okay? In addition, we had somebody come in here once before with a similar situation. They were over the coverage limit. They do make, I don't know how much they
stone
cost.
And pavers.
Yeah, they make pavers that are permeable. Most of it looks like it's a plastic or maybe aluminum grid type of thing, and you put gravel in between it that can drain. And then that becomes the only impermeable part is whatever the percentage of the solid pieces are. So you can reduce your,
No, never mind. I won't, here.
yeah, I'm just telling you, there's other, yeah.
What I'm gonna do is, I've already getting an appointment with him, and start looking, so I can, because there's a master plan for the, that's kinda, I'm. In a way, it's Myron Blackmer's garage, so.
But anyway, that's why I want to bring you
So I'm
up
gonna
all the
do a bunch
things.
of Stuff, so I'm gonna
Yeah.
get the survey done, cause I need to for other items, just because there's more additions to come.
Yeah, if it's been a long time since the survey's been done, if you just got a new tax map, that's,
And especially
again-
that you combined them,
yeah.
it'll give you
I-
good.
Well, he knows right now too, because he and I are building that line up between us, so we'll just take care of it, not being a question, just get it done.
Before you call the surveyor coming back to me, so you have to ask him.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna see if we can.
Yeah, he has to have certain things on the map.
Yeah,
I mean, he has to
That's fine.
include certain
And
things.
I'm gonna get ransomed.
he's good. He
He's real good. He's
come to
good.
me with lot coverage.
Yeah. He's done my other work when my dad passed when we sold the house. So he's done work for me, and yeah, he'll do what with them too. I need to do that, make sure everything's recorded at the county and up to date.
Because, I don't want to be, put you in a situation where you have to rule against you and you're stuck for.
A year before you can do
Yeah.
anything else.
As bad as this is
And I-
delaying you and costing more money, it's gonna be right.
Is that, I know now as a condition. If we get the survey done. So we don't have to have another meeting, is there any reason that we couldn't?
Oh, you'll have to have another meeting.
Have another meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, sorry about that, but that's, we can't, because
Yeah.
we can't pre-rule on something without knowing what the data is. And there's nothing better than actual numbers that you get from the survey. So.
But you can't do it by Zoom.
Right, well.
Not that we don't want to see you, but you
Let
can
me,
Zoom.
let me ask. this. Because I've combined them and he knows where it is, and I have the area in front of my overhead door. What's gonna happen is when that shed roof goes up, the old overhead door that I don't use, it just is still. I'm restoring my antique cherry doors that are gonna be the front opening. And I gotta work with some, knowing that somehow I'll end up making it be. I'll just come see you for a permit and I'm gonna get the 2 posts. I'm gonna do the section out. I don't wanna put all that work into those cherry doors. And then I have a roof over top of it, so I'll see him tomorrow. With the idea that it becomes part of the overall plan. So never mind.
Yeah, your application is not finalized, so you can modify it and change it absolutely until you get to the part where you want to work.
Like I said, I told him I will answer the phone probably from 9 till 11. That's it.
Yeah, so you haven't finalized your application, okay? So you can, now with the additional information, you can go through and do that. Sorry about the
No, that's fine.
interference, but that we gotta have to follow this stuff.
Yeah, we know that. But then.
It's just so tight down in that area. It's better for us to have a good survey that really points everything down.
How much, you know, how much I appreciate what you, Rich, and everybody up here does. So we can get to do these things, I appreciate it.
Couple
We have
things.
to vote this as an idea.
Well,
No,
no,
we're not denying it.
We're just gonna recess the public hearing.
Can I just request
Yeah, well,
on
thank
the
you.
application? When I look at some of your answers, it appears that question 10 and 11, where you answered no, were not elaborated and explained.
Okay,
So if you could look at that,
okay,
okay? And you brought up information about the comprehensive plan, so on 5B, you didn't say yes, no, or not applicable.
okay, I don't know.
And it might not, you might not be able to answer that.
I wanted to ask, cause I didn't see the title of that, and go still Did you do any of those picture elevation?
Yep,
Yeah.
yeah, they're all.
Have them all?
Let's do them, yeah.
Okay, well.
Yeah, I think you
Yeah,
just.
this is
need
the
it.
secret
But
form, the secret
but
form
one
is
is,
what
you
you're
know,
talking about.
Yeah.
your wastewater, so you've already
Yeah,
got something in place, just fill it in.
well, it's
The other, to
actually
keep in
9
mind,
is just not applicable because it's not gonna be
you know,
enclosed.
if I might
9 is
be
just,
saying this
instead of
correctly,
no,
but
in the comment, it should just be not applicable because it's not gonna be enclosed.
She's-
Right, I see.
Carol's still talking.
no, that's all right.
It's just-
It's great that you two are working together. If one of you leaves and someone else comes in and moves, everything goes by property lines, not harmonious neighborhood.
No,
So,
that's-
you know, keeping in mind that part of it too, as far as proximity
Yep.
to your property lines.
Well,
And the
and
fact
again,
that there's
I appreciate that.
brush
approach.
there can be coming down, and then you've got someone who doesn't necessarily or does see what they didn't previous did. So,
Yeah, that's why I brought the point, the variances aren't for you, the variances for the property.
No, I understand.
Yeah.
Again, like I said, I just trying to do what I need to, and like I
Oh,
say, and
good.
yeah,
And along with him, and he and I both know, I said, we're gonna get that property line again.
Well, that's why we try to inform people as much as possible. You know, most people, you may have run through zoning boards and stuff before in your previous life, but most people have not dealt with this kind of thing. And, you know, they just aren't aware. They're not trying to do anything to deceive anybody. Most of the people. There are a few that haven't been that paid themselves, but so. I mean, we're here to help the community. So we
We appreciate
try
it.
to bring that up to speed so you know what's going on.
Never really had this kind of a process until I got to that shed and with him wanting to develop. And I'm all for it because the cottages down there brings a lot of revenue to our community. And he was investing. I watched him try to think about what he could do and how he could stay instead of having to move. And I was all for what he was doing. This little last section, we'll wait till the next meeting, but when I made sure when I looked at the line that I wanted to do, I stayed in line with the building. And he and I are working on, and we'll work with Joe, make sure that Joe likes the way that we're gonna go and what we're doing in between at our property lines that he and I are working on. So we're gonna develop that, start with them, and then that's gonna be a common area, and it helps us to have that property line established.
Yeah, because like you say, if, you know, the property
Either
in
one.
hands, then you don't have that working agreement and you hope you get that back again, but we have to rule on the fact that it's the
Yeah.
property, not you guys.
Yeah.
Nothing against you guys at all.
No,
No,
Yep.
and when we're doing that, he and I are working on the design before we do anything and keeping Joe in the loop because we are going to, because of what we built and started with that drainage. All of that work that we're gonna do together through there is all gonna be done with under drainage and everything else to make sure that it's all taken care of. Joe knows, we're trying to put it in.
Yeah, well, I remember we had the discussion when you came in the first time, and that's kind of a big deal down the lake that a lot of people just have not paid attention to, and it's led to the lake being the way it is. I mean, I blame most of it on what Mueller did and all the other things, but
Well, you
You
and I
know.
remember growing up in
Yep.
first study class when Mr. Connors actually had this picture. We were in earth
Yep,
science
yep.
class. It says, take a look, and you looked at stuff, you remember that too. Right? And he actually had a map looking down at the lake, and you can see the brown right from the California ranch going across. And he said, probably not in your lifetime, but see, that's gonna be gone. And
Yep.
that's what he said, because of what Mueller was doing back
Yep.
down, way back when.
that lake's filled in at least 3 feet since we were in high school. From that
I have a
stuff.
question here, Joe.
Yep.
This form, short environmental assessment form, this is state?
No, well,
Our planning board.
it is the state. but-
Okay, what I'm questioning, number 14.
Right.
No, I'm sorry, 15. Does the site of the proposed action contain any species of animal or associated habitats listed by the state or federal government as threatened or endangered?
Well, you know what? I can answer that because we had to do those studies when we put the water district in down there.
Oh,
So we had to do archaeological. We had to do archaeological to make sure there was no archaeological historical thing down there, no endangered species.
Yeah, but the property owner,
Well,
this
well,
poor gentleman is supposed to find
Well,
out
yeah,
if he's got any species.
well,
that are endangered.
technically, when it comes to the seeker form, the boards will ultimately
Ah,
review it and approve it. Whether it
okay.
be the planning board or the ZBA or the town board, depending on what the action is that's going on. They just submit it to begin with, and then it's our job to review it and make sure it's accurate. But like I say, I can attest in that area down there, we're clean on the archaeological and the endangered species.
I don't know if, I think you were in the class in Batavia
Yes,
last year.
when we talked about
when they-
wetlands.
Yeah, and they changed that, and I brought up the fact that in that class,
I agree with it.
they don't, when they changed the law of the size of what they consider wetlands and restriction, they weren't gonna tell any of the landowners.
That's right.
And I brought that up with the state. I said, you mean you're gonna make these changes remotely and not inform the landowners? And they said, yep, they gotta figure it out. So this is what you're dealing with.
It happens all the time. Well, I thank you for taking the time, and I will get with Joe and you.
Yep.
And I will work through this, behind the scenes, if there's anything that. And thank you up till now, because I know he's called you a couple times as I was trying to go through this process.
No problem.
love to catch up with some point.
I'll put you on.
By the way, Student Teachers Day, I was Mr. Connors. 1 year.
Oh, I actually saw him graduate.
Did you? He was our baseball coach for a couple years.
Wow.
Football coach, yep.
Matter of fact, he ended up. And we got state championship, and I'm sorry, you guys are.
Yeah.
Catch up.
Well, yeah, okay. So
Who wants to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to recess the public
Recess.
hearing.
that's what our second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Who seconded? Thank you.
Okay. So I move, oh, can I get a motion to close the public meeting? Or no,
No, we
just
recessed
recessed
it. We just recessed it.
All right, so it's the,
So we're good with that.
yeah, we need to
gotta
review,
do our
we need to
minutes.
review our meeting notes and then the official part of the meeting be done and then we can chat about the good old days if you want.
Yeah, I get all you.
All right, no problem.
Yeah, we still gotta do our minutes, bro.
In the shop, I mean,
I still gotta do our minutes. They're
I'm
probably.
actually
For the
building
record.
my vacuum dust collection separator right
Oh,
now.
you trying to save your lungs now?
Oh, no, but. You know, the garage will have a vac system, so any place they want that 3-inch vacuum hose, clean it quickly.
All right, good
Next,
luck,
uh,
good luck, guys. Thanks for stopping by.
Thank you.
Next month. You can get your survey.
No, I got traveling to do again, so I'll see you again soon. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Okay. This one's DeLeo's.
So are we? Do we have a meeting about this next month?
If he gets the survey in.
Okay.
It's a
Yeah.
survey.
Yeah, this
So it's
one's,
gonna depend on that.
Yep.
Yeah.
And if, okay, if it's not there in time,
then we just keep the recess open.
okay, so there's no implications or, Right.
No, as long as we keep the
Whatever.
recess open, the timeline, and it's agreeable by them,
okay,
that's.
It's once we approve the application, timeline begins.
Right.
all right.
Do the original variance for lot line, not lot coverage. So.
Oh,
He's gonna
that
have to
next
possibly
week,
add. to
Just
that.
gonna be information that we're adding to the.
Yep.
So if it comes to find out, if he brings the map to me and it's over the lot coverage,
We'll have to modify the application.
We two variants.
And that's okay, because we haven't approved it. We haven't accepted it, so
Okay.
we're good.
And there's a timeline from when it starts, when the denial took place, okay? And then as long as they agree to extend it so they get more time, and that timeline gets extended with it.
Okay.
so as long as he keeps in touch with you.
Yep.
And you, with us, we're okay. We don't, I don't want to get the guy in a bind that can't get a survey because there's 10 foot of snow here.
Right.
Because he couldn't, they couldn't get someone soon enough.
And if it gets, like I said, if it gets to the point where he can't work on it, he always has the option to withdraw and bring it back in later too, so.
Well,
It's kind of like what.
I'd like to
the
get
legal
it,
did.
I'd like
No,
to
I-
get it done.
Sure he would, but. It is September, so.
Yeah, yeah. So we have to do minutes of the last.
Minutes from last time.
Meeting. Red, fine.
Where's that little boy?
Sleeping on the chairs.
Our newest member.
When he's at the Legion, he likes his own bar stool too.
Septic, right where they're.
She's got her dog.
They're septic, right where they're moving that shed.
There are no septics down there. They're all in sewers.
No, I'm talking about on Ross Road.
Oh, the Leos?
Yeah.
Oh,
There should be one.
Usually Gizmo.
no, and the Leos.
Yeah, there should be.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
His
yeah.
name's Gizmo. He's all over.
I was under the impression that, yeah. The cabin.
Yeah, it's just like a hunting cabin and there wasn't anything. That's all it was
If you
before too.
Know something. should disclose it. And I also.
So the
Where?
proper term is
Needs a mini-
recess, not table.
Well,
I know we had this discussion before.
tabling, when you table, you know, and going with the county rules of
Yep,
order and
yep.
stuff, when you table, it can go indefinitely. Usually when you recess, you have to reevaluate it
At
the next meeting,
Okay,
theoretically.
just, yeah, I thought we could.
Yeah, table can go indefinitely.
All right, that's,
Recess, you should be addressing it at the very next
Yeah.
meeting, and that's the one thing, you know, we talk in here that we tabled it, which was, it's just fine with that one, but then on page 4 at the top, it says a public hearing concluded. Well, it really wasn't concluded, it was tabled. So
why I brought
technically
it up.
it's,
Yeah,
so technically it's still open.
Yep.
So is that just a misuse of?
It just, yeah, just term, and I'm not quite sure.
well, I almost did it again today because you closed part of it, but you don't close that part.
Right,
Right.
so it basically,
But the
the
public,
time should be at the bottom of the page 3. Motion to table the applications, but all in favor, and it was tabled at 8:04. And then
Right.
just remove that public hearing concluded line,
right,
Ah, okay.
okay?
just, I thought we could table them. And I thought you could recess them, and I was like, all right, so we gotta make sure we
Yeah.
stay consistent with the wording.
Yeah,
Yeah,
That's,
Yeah.
that was the point.
table.
They're both legal, but there's different.
Now- recessed, if he's not ready at the next meeting, we can bring it up. And then we can table it at
Yeah,
that point if
yep,
it's gonna be
yep.
longer, but we have to do some type of addressing it at the next meeting.
Yeah, I'm all for that. Well,
I
that's why I
make a
brought up
motion,
the
we
old
have-
business from the last one, to
Yeah.
start the meeting out here because
Yeah.
of that very same situation.
I make a motion, we okay the minutes. for the
As
last
amended?
meeting.
With
As
the-
amended. with
Yeah,
that one
as amended.
Correct.
Second,
All in favor?
aye.
Aye. Motion's passed. And we'll move, close the meeting.
No, I think we ought to just stay here. No. I motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.